Hi,
hey everybody.
Friends. Before we kick off this video, which is our first in like a month, we wanted to say that everything that's going on in the world right now is something that we should all be aware of. We should all be keeping up to date on the news, on everything. It's the Black Lives Matter movement, it's the anti-terrorism bill in the Philippines, and so many other things happening all over the world.
There's some good happening, but there's a lot of not so great still going on around, and I guess we wanted to take this time to sort of, you know, talk about it a little and just plant our feet on
where we stand,
where we stand, yeah, and
obviously we stand on the side of,
well, to keep it simple, anything that takes away anybody's basic human rights is just never a good thing, and
it's not right,
and there always has to be voices raised against it, and feet planted firmly on the other side of that line, saying that's not good ever in a million years. Anything that makes any one human being less in the eyes of any other is just wrong. So
it's just wrong.
Call it whatever you want. It's we have to treat each other better. Period. Full stop.
I feel like for both of us, we continue to try to educate ourselves,
which is
every
really
day.
Yeah, which is especially, you know, coming here. Well, for me personally, coming here and
being
to hear about
very
things
different, for sure.
you know, happening at home. There's a lot of education. There's a lot of reading. There's a lot of
listening to other people too, who
lots and lots
know
of
a lot more about these things than
yeah,
we do.
And at the same time, to where kindness is necessary, to be absolutely kind, but also where the need to be firmly planted somewhere is necessary, than to stand your ground and just go, that is not cool ever in a million years. So.
Well, if you want to know more, or if you need more resources, we're going to link to a bunch of things down below.
And there have been many articles that have been more articulate, more profound even than anything we could ever say up here. So the only point is to just say, this is where we stand. We are for human rights, for sure. Black lives do matter.
Of course they do.
It's a great starting point, mattering.
It shouldn't have taken
so many stand-up comics. And while Alexa listens to the more esoteric sort of kind of stuff, I kind of gravitate towards sort of the sort of stand-up comedy, which is providing such great, you know, like, again, commentary on the world. And it's a funny place where it, you know, matters. It's so unobtrusive and yet controversial because people just don't see it that way. And,
it's true. And that shouldn't have even come into question, honestly. Yeah. It should have always been the case from the start. And it's both, it's a great thing that the movement seems to be moving forward.
Yeah, there's a lot of change.
It's
I mean, just the news,
it's
and people are starting to get either called out or prosecuted, and that's great.
Yeah, but it is also very disheartening that it took.
It had to take that. It had to take the riots.
It had to take so many things.
And there's so many dissenting arguments that are so infuriating, I guess. But you know, to keep a cool head, but at the same time to just plant your feet firmly and just say, no, we will not stand for anything that dehumanizes another human being just because of the color of their skin, or just no.
So again, many links will be in the description box below. Yeah. Hopefully you will go and check them out. I'll also link to a couple of videos from other people who are in BookTube who have definitely spoken way more eloquently about this. And I feel like you need to at least give it a watch, give it a listen. And to educate yourself, basically. Yeah,
which is really what we should all do. It is the time. It's a good, it's a turning point in history, maybe even.
Yeah,
I'm hoping it is. There's so many turning points in history.
I feel like we've lived through a lot of
it's just 2020. But we're due for it. Long overdue, I'd like to think. And in the same way that others have more eloquently pointed out turning points in history where it really took a kind of critical mass. That's what the words that are being sort of used, where there's just enough people that are going, enough of this. We will not stand for it. We will risk our lives to raise our voice. Again, links down below to so many people have said it.
That we can think of to link, yeah.
But if there's something that Alex and I felt that we had to, and we talked about this, that we had to stay, it's just plant our flag on the ground and say, this is where we stand. People have to be treated decently and humanely and equally.
Yes, absolutely.
Regardless of the color of their skin. Period.
So we hope you guys are doing well, especially anyone who watches us who is directly feeling the effects of all of this cascading stuff going on in the world. We send you love, we send you light, we're thinking of you always. Just wanted you guys to know that.
Absolutely.
And also we're kind of rusty now, so
we're gonna try to get back
in the group, because we haven't actually filmed any videos in a while.
Yeah.
Partly because of us trying to like engage with what's going on in the world, and also partly because we've been it's been a busy sort of. Mackie has released a book. That's something that
we will
happened
talk
in
about that
in
soon.
a different video that'll come up. But
Yeah,
that is also something that kept you busy.
Yeah, as well. So there's a lot of things, like my day job, and then there's this other real job
Same.
that I know is going to be the thing that will consume my
Passion
entire
job.
life, which is great, because that's always, it's not a prerequisite to living a great life, but sometimes you have it and you roll with it. So here we are.
So we thought we'd start off easy with this new batch of videos that we're filming today. We're gonna do a TBR, finally gonna do a TBR for July. I will say that for May and June, my reading has not been the greatest. It has a lot to do with the fact that Animal Crossing basically took over my life in May, and in June, like, it kind of got better towards
top
the end
of everything
June.
else.
Yeah,
There's-
but at the beginning of June, it was very hard for me to actually read, like, to get into a
because
story.
just too many things that happen.
But yeah, I feel like my reading is slowly making a comeback, I guess. I think for Mackie too, it'll be a little different because he's not working on
I'm not
the book.
behind on my reading challenge,
So-
but
We're gonna talk about all the books that we're gonna read or reread in the month of July.
that's right.
Wish us luck.
Wish us luck.
I feel like our TBRs are always very aspirational, like, we're gonna try.
We're gonna try. Dusting it off because, and don't come at me in the comments, but
Don't come at us.
don't
in the
come
comments.
at us in the comments, but we didn't hate the Artemis Fowl movie. We understand how upsetting it can be, so
Yes,
we want, so our hearts,
absolutely.
first of all, we want to open with a statement of the many people that we feel for.
Like, we understand.
I mean, there's like, obviously that kind of social commentary about how the world is terrible right now, but people are fighting, and that's good. On the lowest rung of people we want to reach out to, in terms of priority, we haven't forgotten you. Your voices are still heard, in spite of the social stuff. We feel very sorry for the Artemis Fowl community. And
I know you guys really love the series.
Really
You're
love the
so
series.
passionate about
We
it.
understand
And
why.
I totally get why the movie
get
was
it.
not for
We-
you.
It's almost kind of like, I feel like my relationship with the Artemis Fowl movie is like how some people have like that one relative that's just like, oh, well, what do I do with this person? But I love them, but I don't know what to do with you right now. I can't justify anything that you do, but we're family, so ugh. But you love them. It's not that they're detestable. It's just, what do you? Well, they're just detestable to some people. But what are you gonna do? They're blood, and that matters to you. That's the kind of thing, and that's how I feel my relationship with Artemis Fowl movie is. I get why it's upsetting to all of you, and I apologize.
But the bottom line is we liked it. We kind of enjoyed it
know,
more than we
it's
thought.
true.
We were.
And only
And this is coming from someone who I have not read
She
the
hasn't
entire
read Artemis
series. I've
Fowl.
only read the first book.
so no shame on her because she's new to the thing.
Yeah.
Shame on
Like,
me,
I have nothing, like,
guess,
built
from
in.
the fandom, because I read all of it, all the way to the Atlantis thing, and Opal Cowboy and all of that good stuff. I loved the series. I've met Owen Colfer and had him sign this, which is apparently the book that happens after, I want to say,
All of the Artemis
events of the Artemis Fowl book. I don't know. I haven't touched it. I haven't read it. It's called The Fowl Twins. I don't know what that means, but again, the movie has revived my kind of, hey, Artemis Fowl.
I actually wanted to read it.
And then it went on sale
The series.
on Kindle for like $1.99 each book, and I just obviously bought all of that because I love my Artemis Fowl series back in the Philippines. But yeah, so again, sorry to everybody who hoped so hard that it could have been good.
It is kind of sad,
We
though.
totally understand why you think it's garbage. We do, and we get that. We understand. It's just, unfortunately, I kind of liked it.
It's like Mackie liking the City of Bones movie. Which, to be fair, is not as horrible as I remember it being, except for certain choice scenes that I have very strong opinions about.
I actually liked it better that time around, but we will not. But that's not.
But
what
that's
this
for
is
topic
about.
for another day.
It's not making me want to read City of Bones the way the Artemis Fowl movies make me want to read the Artemis Fowl series. And
Alright.
it will, culminating in obviously the Fowl. Anyway, on to more on-brand things. This is Gotham
this is
High.
so on brand.
This is on brand for Alexa, actually. It's off brand for me. The
Well,
graphic
it's kind of like weirdly middle brand.
yeah, I don't really do Bruce Wayne. Like I'm not a Bruce. I don't mess with Bruce Wayne a lot. Like, he's there. He's like that emotionally dysfunctional kind of necessary father figure that, and I feel like I'm part of the bad
Except in
family.
Maria
so
Lou's world.
yeah, except in Maria Lou's world. So exactly. So Elseworlds Bruce is sort of like a total Alexa thing, and graphic novels have lately been mine. That's how I'm up to date with my reading challenge. It's all graphic novels. Thank you, Kindle Unlimited. But this is Gotham High. It's Bruce coming back from getting kicked out of boarding school, because why not? Angst, right? I mean, any child that goes through that kind of trauma makes total sense. Selena Kyle is a girl next door kind of thing here, so there's gonna be Selena in this, and I cannot wait.
I mean, you do like that.
Okay, see, I don't mess with Bruce, but pair him up with another person, and I'm in. Because
You're just like, yes.
because apparently I can only take Bruce in doses, in diluted doses. Like, I can't do a full
That's fair.
Pair him up with anyone in the Bat family. Pair him up with anyone in the league, which is basically just like if they're like a B string, he'll just sneer at them for being B string. Or even if they're A stringers, like Jordan, he's just gonna be like Lantern. Anyway, so that's sort of my first rung of books that I want to talk about.
I'm gonna start by talking about a couple of friend-related things. Well, some friend-related. I have a lot of friend-related things this month. So let's start with the ebook stuff. I'm going to be continuing the Guild Hunter series by Nalini Singh.
Nice.
I'm going to be reading 2 books. It's books 3 and books 4. That's Archangel's Consort and Archangel's Blade. The Guild Hunter series centers around a character named Elena. She's a vampire hunter.
Oh,
and in the first book, she gets hired by the Archangel of New York, Raphael, to track down a wayward person. And I really enjoyed the first book. I thought it was really fun. I can see why it wouldn't work for everyone, but more on that in some other video.
This is the angel dust. Like,
yes. I thought the world was so fun. Like it was so
I'm kind of sold on the lore.
And it just kind of felt different from like what I would normally have expected from angels or vampires or both. So that was pretty fun, and I'm somewhere in the middle of book 2 at this point. I think halfway through it, and it's also really good, so we'll see how that goes. I'm also going to be reading Dark and Deepest Dread by Anna Marie McLemore. This is the book that my friend Rachel from Hello Chelly picked for July, which I'm so behind on all the books that my friends have picked. We'll catch up at some point. Before the end of the year, it'll get done. But anyway, Dark and Deepest Dread is Anna Marie's latest offering. They are telling a story that is in dual timeline, and it is sort of inspired by the Dancing Red Shoes fairy tale. Yeah, the one where like the shoes go on your feet and you keep dancing. I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
She says dancing red shoes, and I'm just like, red shoes, like ruby slippers, and I'm like, that's not how the story went. I'm like, oh.
But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I've enjoyed all of their work in the past, and I can't wait to read more of that. This was supposed to happen in June, but because life and we were all kind of busy, the Paranormal Book Club is resuming in July with Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Lady Taylor. Paranormal Book Club includes Rachel, it includes DJ from This Life in Fiction, and also Kristen from Super Space Chick. So Daughter of Smoke and Bone is a book I haven't read in years, but it centers around a main character named Karu, who is a student and an artist in Prague, and she also happens to work for a chimera, or like that particular race, and she has this ability to like interact with that race, but then something is going on that seems to threaten the connection to that other world, and so she has to look into that in this book. It's an angels and chimera story, so fun times. I haven't read it in so long, but I'm very much looking forward to rereading it.
In my head, she was working for like a giant like beast with like a lion's head and a goat's head and like a snake's head that does accounting. Because she said she's working for chimera. I'm like, what would that be like to have 3 bosses? Anyway, but that's just...
And the last thing that I will be reading with friends is the second Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants book, The Second Summer of the Sisterhood by Anne Brashares. I'm actually cheating on this because I already started it. Also, I'm like 100 pages in. So this is the second book in the series. It follows the next summer of the Traveling Pants with Bridget, Lena, Tibby, and Carmen.
Is that the second movie or totally different?
Yes, yes. Ooh, okay. Some of the second movie is in this book. I don't remember if the whole thing is inspired by this particular book or all 3. So far, I've been enjoying it. It's funny because Lena used to be my favorite, and now she's not my favorite. Let's see how that holds out. So this I'm reading with Rachel and Kristen. All right, that's part 1 for me.
For Alexa. I am moving on to just a couple of things that I sort of really have to get back to, because, you know, this is me trying to murder my TBR. And who really wins that battle? But we will be brave in attempt. I'm gonna start with something called The Betwixters by Laura Cantu. I got this like years ago. It's from Winterwolf Press. You'll see them around at BEA. And it's a story about a bunch of kids who get chased into the woods by a school bully. Somewhere in England, I forget. But then they find like a lost fairy and now an adventure ensues. So it's one of those kind of quest, like we fall into it. You know, it's like we were driven into by fate into the middle of a thing. It seems like a nice, fun children's read. I really want to sort of escape again, and so this might be a good way to do that. Another one would be Witchborn by Nicholas Bowling. A lovely finished copy that we got here. A story about a girl who gets committed at, I think this is historical, I want to say YA-ish, set at a time where England had 2 rival queens. I don't know any history, really, unless they have dragons. In which case, the only thing I took note of is that her mother was executed for being a witch. 2 hooded figures, you know, and by the way, her mother, which is the main character here, her name is Alice, and she gets committed to the asylum, Bedlam Asylum, and then 2 masked figures sort of like break her out, and she delves deeper into the undercity of, like, you know, London at the time, and mysteries unfold. So I think that's kind of cool to see which has her place in the world. And lastly, good grief, Alexa has finished this book ahead of me.
Can you believe that?
This was a birthday gift from like 2 years ago-ish. They're about, maybe even 3, I don't know, I'm not counting. But this is Obsidian. I have not read it. I am ashamed that I have not, to a point. Nothing too
I think you should, because there was like a point that came in that book where I was just like, why can I not tell you anything because you haven't read it?
Not the kind of self-destructive kind of shame, but I am like, I should read this. This is terrible. And to catch up. Now I'm catching up to Alexa. Now I'm the one that she's like, dude, you gotta read it, as opposed to like years ago when I was like, girl, illuminate. And here we are. So I hear it's great. I hear it's like the Avengers Infinity.
It was very great.
You know, Infinity War.
Not my favorite in the series, but
where
it was good.
It unites it's just lovely. So it just ties everything together, I hear, and I'm excited for that. I tried listening to the audiobook the other day. It did not work. I need to read it. So here we are, hard copy. Gonna be awesome. Oh, by the way, Obsidian is the third book.
It's the third book in the
Illuminate
Files
series, where an evil corporation starts liquidating one of their kind of like off-world planets.
Pretty much everything.
Pretty much everything, and then the survivors just say, hey, that's a complete violation. You can't do that to us. And all of the people that they try to erase rise up against them to bring them down.
It's
and
great.
This is the final book where that battle takes place. Yeah, that's going to be a hopefully fun, easy July reading month.
If you're reading it physically, I think you will get through it pretty quick. Alright, a couple more books from me. So, Kristen and I are going to try to read this. Can't guarantee it because it's kind of long. This is Flashback, which is part of the Keeper of the Lost City series. This is book 7, I want to say. This is the book that Mackie struggled with.
Oh wow,
this is
what a mountain to climb.
This is also the book that I feel like a lot of people struggled with, actually.
But it's necessary. I will say this. It's a necessary crossing point because it sets so many things up for the next book.
Yeah, for the, you know, fruition of this entire series. You've heard us talk about Keeper of the Lost Cities before. It is about Sophie Foster. In the first book, she finds out that she is actually an elf, and so she gets whisked away to
the land of the elves.
The land of the elves, where she has to go to school and learn how to manage her elven abilities. Along the way, she finds out that there is more to her existence than she knew, because she's actually special, even among the elves.
And part of a bigger conspiracy that is continually unfolding.
And I swear to God, every single book has literally made that conspiracy bigger and bigger until like even the last book, it just got bigger than it already was, and I do not know how she does it.
Especially because as the conspiracy gets bigger and bigger, the characters become even more fleshed out and complex, and you tend to love them more. So that's
I love her to ensemble cast in
this. It's a great thing. The irony is that it's not my go-to because I don't do. Yes, Kristen, I'm still not messing with elves. It's not my thing. But this one, I'm just like, all right, now I have to know what happened.
The series has been so great. I really enjoy it. I would highly recommend checking it out. Like, it was one of those series that I feel sad that I didn't get into it sooner, but also at the same time, I'm glad because I have so much more of it to consume. So,
that's right.
Very exciting. The next book is actually a book club that I'm going to be participating in. So, Kristen and the team at Jardin Dene are doing the Sartorial Geek Book Club, and this is the book for July, A Song Below Water by Bethany C. Morrow. So this is a mermaid book.
Oh, hey.
Which obviously is exciting. It's about two best friends. I believe they live in a world where being a mermaid or a siren is not necessarily looked upon well, and so when one of them is revealed to be a siren, things don't obviously go well. I'm very much looking forward to reading this. It's actually shorter than I thought it was, so I hope I love it as much as I think I'm going to. We have Hello Universe, which is by Erin Entrada Kelly. So this is a middle grade novel about 4 individuals who end up tied together after one of them bullies another one. It sounds like a really moving story, and I really do want to read something from this author because I haven't yet, and I own a few of her books, so hopefully I will enjoy this book. I also want to read Forest of Souls by Laurie M. Lee, which has this stunning cover. So it's about a girl named Saoirse, and she is basically training to become like a spy. But then one day, shamans attack and kill her best friend, and she is suddenly revealed to have a new ability that makes her a light wender because she brings her best friend back to life. And so she has to venture into the forest to meet the Spider King, I want to say, and to work with him because light wenders are the only ones that can hold back the darkness that's in the forest. So it sounds really good. Cannot wait to read it. And the last book is The Most Ambitious Thing I Will Attempt in July. And it's because usually it's around July where I start craving like adult fantasy, which is like a weird thing, but it's happened for like the past 4 years, so I was like, you know what, we're gonna do it this month. So I asked Kristen to pick which one of the many I own that I should read, and I could have predicted that this would be what she'd pick. I will start, I can't say I'll finish, but I will start The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan, which is the first in the Wheel of Time series. This is actually not as long as some other books that I've read, but if it's anything like The Lord of the Rings, which is what I've heard, the writing will take me a while to get through. I am still very much looking forward to diving into it because I know Kristen really loves the first 2 books, so I hope I will love them as well. We're going to find out. But yeah, this is definitely the most ambitious thing that's on my TBR. Good luck to me. That's all the books that we have to talk about today. If you guys have read any of the books, or if you're planning to read any of them or join any of the book clubs and stuff, let us know. We'd love to hear it, and we would love to hear like how you guys are doing, something good that's going on for you, maybe what you're reading or what you've been loving. And we'll see you guys with another video soon. Bye.